Welcome back to Talk Bright English, the place where you improve your English and your mindset. In this video, you'll practice shadowing English through powerful motivational messages, inspired by the best-selling book Atomic Habits by James Clear. Here, you won't just learn how to speak English. You'll learn how to build strong habits, stay consistent, and grow every single day, one word at a time. Now get ready to listen, repeat, and feel the message. Let's speak English and build the life you deserve. We all want to change, but too often we wait for a big moment. We wait for motivation to strike like lightning, thinking that a sudden push will finally fix everything. But that moment almost never comes. Real change doesn't happen in one big explosion. It happens slowly, quietly, through tiny daily decisions that seem meaningless. But they're not. One small step, repeated every day, begins to shape your identity and your future. James Clear said, if you get 1% better each day, you'll be 37 times better in a year. That's not hype. That's math. That's the power of compounding habits. It's not about magic. It's about discipline and direction. But here's the truth. Most people ignore small things. Why? Because they want instant results. They want change now. And when it doesn't come fast enough, they give up. They think, this isn't working. But it was. It always was. The secret? It's not about massive action. It's about daily action. You don't need to transform your life overnight. You just need to show up, again and again. Because your life is shaped by what you do consistently. Your habits are not just things you do. They are reflections of who you believe you are. Every time you choose discipline, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. Identity is built in the doing. This is true in everything, even learning English. You don't need to become fluent overnight. Start with 5 minutes a day. Learn one new word. Say one sentence. Progress is invisible at first, but powerful in time. Don't chase perfection. Chase consistency. You won't rise to the level of your dreams. You'll fall to the level of your systems. So build systems that make good habits easy and bad habits hard. Atomic habits are small, but they are atomic for a reason. They are explosive in the long run. They change your direction. They change your destiny. The invisible power of daily choices. Change doesn't shout. It whispers. It doesn't announce itself with fireworks. It slips in quietly through your habits. And that's what makes Atomic Habits so powerful. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters, repeatedly. James Clear reminds us, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just like money multiplies through interest, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. It's not exciting at first, but over time, it becomes unstoppable. The problem? Most people quit too early. They don't see results in a week or a month, and they assume it's not working. But results lag. Just like seeds under soil, your effort grows long before it shows. Clear calls this the plateau of latent potential, the painful space where your actions haven't bloomed yet. This is where most people give up. But if you keep going, your habits will eventually push you through the plateau and explode. We're not just chasing motivation. Motivation fades. What we need are systems. Daily routines, structures that keep us going even when we don't feel like it. Atomic Habits teaches that you don't rise to your goals, you fall to your systems. Goals are great for direction, but systems are what make progress happen. Focus less on what you want to achieve and more on who you want to become. Your identity must come first. Actions follow beliefs. If you say, I'm trying to become fit, it's passive. But if you say, I am a fit person, you take ownership. Identity creates alignment. Your habits must match the kind of person you believe you are. That's lasting change. Learning English? Same idea. Don't say, I'm trying to learn. Say, I'm an English learner. Then act like one. Practice speaking. Read daily. Listen closely. You're not trying, you're becoming. Language isn't memorized. It's lived, repeated, and experienced. Habits shape identity. Identity fuels habits. This cycle is powerful. It's also dangerous if misused. If you see yourself as lazy, you act lazy. Change the story. Rewrite your internal script. Start small. Speak differently about yourself and to yourself. James Clear doesn't promise fast fixes. He offers truth. Small habits done daily beat big plans that never happen. Atomic change isn't loud, but it is permanent, and it begins the moment you decide to keep going. How habits shape your future. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. That's what James Clear teaches. You are not just building results, you're building identity, one tiny vote at a time. You don't need to change your life in one day. You just need to cast the right votes. Want to be disciplined? Wake up early once. Want to be healthy? Skip junk food once, then do it again and again. The world won't see your small choices, but your future will feel them. Every moment you choose progress over comfort. You shape a future that's stronger, quieter, braver, and it begins not tomorrow, but today. Clear reminds us that habits are feedback loops. Cue, craving, response, reward. That's the loop your brain follows. Understand it. And you can design your environment to make good habits easier and bad habits harder. Want to read more? Place your book on the bed. Want to exercise? Set your shoes by the door. Your environment must support your intention. Because willpower fades, but design stays. Build spaces that encourage the person you're becoming. Habit stacking is another powerful idea. Attach a new habit to an old one. For example, after I make coffee, I will study English for 5 minutes. That connection makes it easier to follow through and stick with it. If you're learning English, use this. After brushing my teeth, I'll say 1 sentence in English. Or after breakfast, I'll write 1 new word. Small actions, connected to existing habits. That's the secret to effortless consistency. When you miss once, it's okay. When you miss twice, you're starting a new habit, a habit of quitting. That's why Clear says, never miss twice. You're human. But don't let a mistake become a pattern. Success doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to the most consistent. To those who do the right thing when no one's watching. To those who understand that greatness lives in the boring, in repetition. Keep voting, keep choosing, keep becoming. 1 small habit, 1 small moment, 1 small identity shift at a time. Your future self is watching, and it's counting on the habits you choose today. Make it easy, make it stick. Most people don't fail because they lack ambition. They fail because their systems are too complicated. Atomic Habits teaches us, if a habit is hard to do, you won't do it. Simplicity isn't laziness, it's strategy. James Clear says, make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, make it satisfying. These 4 laws of behavior change turn intentions into action. They're not random ideas. They are the psychology of how habits are built and broken. Make it obvious. If your cue is invisible, your habit won't start. Want to write? Put a pen on your desk. Want to read? Leave your book open. Visibility increases action. What you see, you move toward. Make it attractive. Combine things you want with things you need. Want to practice English but hate studying? Pair it with music. Watch a show with subtitles. Turn learning into something that doesn't feel like a chore. Make it easy. Remove friction. If your habit takes too much effort, it will fail. Instead of reading 50 pages, start with 5. Instead of learning 100 words, try 3. Make the habit too small to fail. Make it satisfying. Your brain loves rewards. End each habit with something that feels good. Cross off a checklist. Say, I did it. Give yourself encouragement. Positive emotion reinforces behavior. Celebrate the small wins. They're bigger than you think. One of the best lines from the book is this: you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Goals are good for direction. Systems are great for progress. The truth? Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. Habits work slowly, but they work forever if you're patient enough to stay with them. For English learners, this is key. Don't aim to become fluent next month. Aim to speak 1 clear sentence today, then repeat. Language grows not through pressure, but through patience, through joy, through showing up every single day. Learning anything is a habit. Becoming anything is a habit. Who you are tomorrow depends on what you do repeatedly, not what you promise, not what you plan, what you actually do in real life, consistently. So make it easy, make it light, make it part of who you are. Because when habits become identity, discipline becomes natural, progress becomes automatic, and your life, slowly but surely, begins to transform. Breaking bad habits, building strong ones. Good habits build you. Bad habits break you. But both grow the same way, 1 small action at a time. James Clear reminds us that the habits that hurt us often feel good now and cost us everything later. That's the trap. Bad habits reward you instantly. Sugar tastes good. Scrolling feels relaxing. Skipping work seems harmless. But the price comes later, in regret, in lost time, in pain that could have been avoided with just 1 better decision. To break a bad habit, make it invisible. Make it unattractive. Make it hard. Make it unsatisfying. Reverse the 4 laws. Don't rely on willpower. Design your world so that temptation has no place to hide. If you always eat junk food when you're stressed, remove it from your home. Replace it with something healthy. If you waste time on your phone, delete the app or move it far away. Make the bad habit inconvenient. Clear says, environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. You are not weak. You are surrounded. If you want to change your life, change your environment first. Then your choices will begin to follow. It's not about being perfect. It's about being aware. Bad habits are not flaws in your character. They are scripts that have been running for years. But now, you get to rewrite the script. One scene at a time. For English learners, break the habit of fear. Fear of making mistakes. Fear of sounding silly. Speak anyway. Write anyway. The only bad habit in learning is silence. Say it wrong, then say it again. That's how growth sounds. Don't aim for 0 mistakes. Aim for constant movement. Fluency is not the absence of error. It's the presence of courage. It's the decision to keep showing up, even when progress feels invisible. Remember, you don't need to overhaul your life overnight. Just stop feeding what drains you and start feeding what builds you. Your habits are seeds. They either grow roots of regret or roots of power. So break what holds you. Build what moves you. Start small, stay honest, and trust the process. Atomic Habits isn't just a book. It's a blueprint for anyone brave enough to change their life, one quiet decision at a time. The true measure of progress. Success is not a single moment. It's a pattern, a rhythm, a silent climb. Atomic Habits teaches us that progress is not always visible, but it is always real. You just need the courage to look beyond the surface. James Clear reminds us, outcomes are a lagging measure of your habits. Your bank account is a lagging measure of financial habits. Your fitness is a lagging measure of health habits. And your language skills? A lagging measure of daily practice. We often think we're not improving because we can't see results fast enough. But progress is like water dripping on rock. At first, nothing happens. Then one day the rock cracks. Not from one drop, from persistence. That's why Clear says, be more concerned with your current trajectory than your current results. Don't ask, am I there yet? Ask, am I heading in the right direction? Because direction, not speed, determines your destiny. The hardest part is not starting. It's continuing when no one's watching. It's staying committed when praise is absent. True growth happens in silence. Behind the scenes, in the quiet spaces where discipline becomes character. So track your habits, not to judge yourself, but to stay aware. Use a calendar, a checklist, a journal. When you track, you own. And when you own, you take power back from excuses. Even in English learning, track your efforts. 1 word learned, 1 sentence spoken, 1 article read. Progress doesn't always feel like winning, but it always feels like effort. Honor that. Let every attempt count as a step forward. Clear's message is simple. Habits build identity, but identity also builds habits. If you believe you're inconsistent, you'll act like it. Change starts when you change what you believe about yourself. I'm not lazy. I'm learning discipline. Your future isn't something that arrives. It's something you create with every repetition, every tiny choice. Success isn't owned. It's rented. And rent is due every day. Show up, even when you're tired, especially when you're tired. One day people will call you lucky, but you'll know it was never luck. It was the habit of showing up long before anyone noticed. That's what Atomic Habits reveals, the hidden truth of long-term transformation. Identity over outcome. James Clear writes, the ultimate form of intrinsic motivation is when a habit becomes part of your identity. You don't just run, you're a runner. You don't just learn English, you're an English speaker. Identity drives consistency. Most people focus on outcomes. They say, I want to lose weight, or I want to speak fluently. But focusing only on results makes you impatient. Identity, on the other hand, creates habits that last because you act from who you are. When your identity changes, everything changes. The smoker who says, I'm trying to quit, still sees smoking as part of who they are. But the one who says, I'm not a smoker, cuts the root, not just the action. Your behaviors reflect your beliefs, and beliefs are formed by repetition. Every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you want to become. So vote daily, vote proudly, and one day your identity will match your actions. Clear explains, you don't need to be perfect. You only need to win the majority of the time. If your habits are aligned 51% of the time with your goals, You're already becoming a new version of yourself. So don't obsess over missing a day. Life happens, energy fades, distractions come. But never let one missed habit become your new identity. You missed one day? Fine, but the next day, return with strength. That's power. Learning English works the same. You missed your study time? It's okay. Just come back tomorrow. Say one sentence. Watch one video. The point isn't perfection, it's return. Mastery belongs to those who return again and again. Atomic habits are identity habits. When you say, I'm the type of person who never quits, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Your brain wants to stay consistent with how you see yourself. So choose your identity carefully. Stop saying, I'm not good at this. Start saying, I'm someone who learns. That simple shift builds confidence. Belief is a muscle, and habits are how you train it. Over time, that belief carries you through any setback. Who you are becoming is more important than what you are achieving. Because when you build the right identity, the results eventually follow. But if you chase results without becoming someone new, the change will never last. Staying consistent in a world of distraction. Staying consistent isn't easy, especially in a noisy world. Notifications, doubts, comparison, pressure. Atomic Habits doesn't deny that, but it gives us tools to stay focused, even when life pulls us in 100 directions. Focus is a practiced habit. James Clear teaches us the 2-minute rule. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes. Not because you're lazy, but because starting is the gateway to momentum. You can't improve what you don't begin. Want to read more? Read one page. Want to learn English? Listen for 2 minutes. Small starts feel effortless. And once you're in motion, it's easier to keep going. Action creates energy. Starting small removes the fear of failure. The problem isn't ambition. It's scale. We try to change too much too fast. Then we burn out or quit. But habits that start small grow strong. Like a tree. First a seed, then roots, then growth. Silent but steady. You don't need to do a lot. You just need to not stop. If you do something consistently, no matter how tiny, you begin building trust with yourself. And that trust is what fuels true transformation. Tracking habits helps too. James Clear recommends a habit tracker, a visual cue to remind yourself, I showed up today. Seeing that streak builds pride, and pride builds identity. We repeat what we're proud of, so track what matters. Learning English? Track your words. 5 new ones a day, a sentence spoken, a journal entry written, small check marks but powerful reminders. They say, I'm learning, not just thinking about learning, not just planning, but actually doing it. The hardest day isn't the first day. It's the day you don't feel like it. When you're tired, unmotivated, alone. But those are the days that build character, that define you. Keep going, especially when it's not easy. Clear says, standardize before you optimize. In other words, be consistent before trying to be perfect. Don't tweak your methods if you're still struggling to show up. First, become the person who shows up, no matter what. Because in the end, success doesn't go to the smartest or the loudest. It goes to the most consistent, the one who keeps choosing forward, the one who keeps planting effort, even in silence, even in struggle, even in doubt. The cost of instant gratification. James Clear writes, the costs of your good habits are in the present. The costs of your bad habits are in the future. That's why good habits feel hard. They demand effort now, but they pay you later. Bad habits are the opposite. They feel amazing now. Fast food, social media, skipping routines. They reward you instantly but silently build consequences. Regret doesn't knock loudly. It creeps in through your daily choices, until one day it overwhelms you. The challenge is simple. Do you want pleasure now or freedom later? Do you want comfort now or confidence later? The person you become depends on what you choose to sacrifice. Either the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. This world is built to distract you. Algorithms, addictions, shortcuts. But Atomic Habits offers a rebellion, not loud and violent, but quiet and intentional. A choice to build, to grow, to show up, even when no one claps. Delayed gratification is power. You train your brain to love progress more than pleasure, to value growth more than comfort. You begin to understand that nothing beautiful comes easy, and that's what makes it valuable. Building habits teaches patience. You stop asking, how long will this take? And start asking, how far can I go if I never stop? It's a mindset shift from outcome to process, from urgency to faith. Faith in the work, faith in the journey, faith that if you honor your effort, the results will eventually honor you back. Because habits always repay. Slowly, silently, but faithfully. You just need to keep showing up. If you're learning English, this matters too. You may not see fluency after 1 week or 1 month, but if you stay with it, 1 word, 1 sentence, 1 repetition, the language begins to live inside you. Progress doesn't always come with applause. Sometimes it comes with silence. But that silence means you're growing roots, invisible strength. And one day, those roots will support something strong, something real, something unshakable. So pause before you chase what feels good. Ask yourself, does this move me closer to who I want to be? If the answer is yes, follow it. If the answer is no, let it go and rise, becoming unstoppable. At some point, it won't be about the habit anymore. It'll be about who you've become because of it. That's what Atomic Habits is really about. Not just results, but rebirth. From struggle to strength, from repetition to transformation. James Clear didn't write this book to make you work harder. He wrote it to help you work smarter, to show you that greatness is never one big event. It's thousands of small decisions, stacked silently until they become unstoppable momentum. You were never meant to be perfect. You were meant to grow, to fail, to adjust, and to rise. The power of a habit isn't in how it begins. It's in how often it continues. Again and again. If you want change, don't wait, begin. If you want strength, don't wish, build. If you want discipline, don't look for motivation. Build systems, build structure, build reminders. You don't need to force everything. You need to design your life intentionally. And yes, some days will be hard. But hard is not bad. Hard means you're moving. Hard means you're stretching. Hard means you're no longer living on autopilot. You're awake, you're choosing. And that is power no one can take. English learners, your voice is growing, even if you still stumble. Even if your accent feels heavy. Even if you forget words. You are still learning, still rising, still speaking. And that means you are unstoppable. Because the goal is never perfection. The goal is never applause. The goal is to show up for the life you want. And let that quiet act of showing up daily become the loudest proof of your potential. One day someone will ask, how did you do it? And you'll smile, not because it was easy, but because you never stopped. One day, one decision, one repetition at a time, until your habits became your story. So here's your reminder. You don't need to be great to start, but you must start to be great. Start today. Start small. Stay consistent. Keep showing up for the future you, for the life you deserve. And if this message lit a fire in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, speak it, live it, and subscribe. Because your growth journey is just beginning. And I promise, the best version of you is still rising.